So on today's Card Academy lesson, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a fairly interesting false shuffle. Now this one is done on a table. It's not something that's designed to be done in the hands, but it's very reminiscent of something you might see from Leonard Green because it has a sort of chaotic feel to it, but it keeps the deck in the exact same order it began. So let's just get right into it and show you what I'm talking about. So the shuffle itself looks a little bit like this. It has somewhat of a haphazard feel to it, and it just looks like you're placing the cards on the table just like this in a haphazard fashion, but believe it or not, that actually keeps the deck in the exact same order that it began. So let's get into the actual method and show you what it is that I'm talking about. So the reason this is called the pullback shuffle is because that's what you're doing. You're going to pull back with your right hand. So this shuffle actually starts off with a cut and the retention of a break by using our pinky. So right now I've cut the cards, but I've separated the halves using my pinky as the means to do that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spread the deck until I reach my break, and I'm going to divide this upper half in half. So right now I'm still keeping my break just right there, but I've divided the upper half in half. So now this is where the extent of my break resides, and this is just the upper half of the deck. And all I'm going to do is drop this bottom half on top of the table as I drop some cards from my right hand and place them on top of that pile. Now if you've noticed, this is the original bottom of the deck. Nothing's happened. I'm going to divide this in half again and do the exact same thing, placing cards like this. Now what you've noticed is that we've just placed this face down half back where it started, face down on a table, but we've done it in a haphazard spread. Now here is where we're going to implement the pullback aspect of the shuffle, in that we're going to take this, which is, remember, the original top half of the deck. We're going to spread it, but here we're going to spread the bottom half and we're going to reverse spread it by pushing out our fingers. So as we spread the cards, we're just going to push this bottom half to the right by just spreading our fingers underneath. Now if you notice, remember, this is the bottom half of the top half. So this is what would go on top of the deck. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to deposit a couple cards from this half and place it on top of the pile that's on the table. And I'm going to mime doing the same with my right half, just like this. However, what I'm doing is that I'm just using my fingers to spread the cards and just pulling them back. That's all I'm doing. I'm not placing anything from this half. I'm just pushing my fingers and pulling it back. But what you have here is a very compelling illusion because we're depositing cards from our left hand and they see that. Then we're going to mime doing the same action with our right hand, but we're just going to pull back as we do this a couple times, making it look like we're putting cards on the actual table, but really we're not putting anything from our right hand. So let's go over the entirety of the shuffle one more time. We've cut the cards, we've divided this in half. I've placed some cards down from the upper half, which is the lower half technically, but because of the break, it's now the upper half. And I'm going to repeat the action here, just dropping piles on the table just like this, looking like it's haphazard. Then for the remaining cards, so this is the upper half of the deck, the true upper half, I'm just going to reverse spread these bottom cards, drop some of them, spread these cards off with my fingers, touch this pile, but pull back with these cards as I move these piles back and forth, just like this, giving the impression that I'm depositing cards from my left, depositing cards from my right, left, right, and then dropping everything on top. Believe it or not, that leaves the deck in the exact same order that it started off in. There's no change to the deck. It's a full deck false shuffle, and it looks like a mess. So if we leave the cards in this condition where the cards are face up and face down, just like this, you could see what's actually taking place. If we mix the cards, it just looks like we're mixing the cards haphazardly, just like this, but really, the cards remain in the same exact order with the face-up cards on the bottom and the face-down cards on top. And the illusion is especially compelling with all the cards face down because it really does look like you're depositing cards from the right-handed pile. So I love this, and this is a very easy false shuffle to do once you get the technique down because it's just a simple matter of dropping the cards with the left hand, not dropping the cards with the right hand, then doing the same with the left hand, and then repeating the same action with the right hand. So it has this nice flow to it, and it just looks like you don't care about the order of any of the cards. So when it comes to this shuffle, the most important thing to practice is that pulling back action. So you're pulling back with the right-handed half. You're not putting any of the cards, but the illusion is there because you are immediately putting in the cards from the left hand. So it just looks like you're moving your hands back and forth, depositing cards from both halves until you finally deposit all the cards in the right half and complete the actual false shuffle action. But it's definitely a nice move to do, and it just gives this illusion that you don't care where the cards are going. So it's kind of like a wash shuffle, but it's more of a putting down technique that really does convey the idea of chaos. And another wonderful case study is Leonard Green, because he's the type of performer that just looks like there's no control over anything whatsoever. Nothing is in his control in the table, and yet he's able to control each and every single card exactly as he wants to. And this is sort of reminiscent of that idea. But this is a great shuffle to do if you have the right setting. You're going to need something of a placemat. A carpet works perfectly well. This isn't as good on a surface like a bar, but you could do it in a pinch. The only thing is that you're going to have to just worry about the cards slipping, and you want to make sure that if you care about preserving the order of the entire deck, that you're going to have to manage the cards correctly, because the cards tend to move out of place on such a slick surface like a bar or something like a countertop. So you're going to have to be a little bit extra cautious when it comes to doing this on anything other than carpet or close-up mat. But that's the shuffle. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys performed it. Thanks again for being members of the PigCake Magic Academy, and I hope to see you on the next one.